Greetings and salutations, my name is OJ as always, and surprise, we're not doing a Dead by Daylight video today. My reasonings for this is because I can only do so much of one thing until I get bored. I'm also autistic, that plays into it. So yeah, today instead of doing another episode, do we call them episodes? Should I call them episodes? Another video in relation to the DBD-a-thon. I'm going to be talking about Honkai Star Rail because I really like Honkai Star Rail, even despite its issues, and Phainon came out today. Today, and I had 150 pulls all saved up for him. You've got no idea how difficult it was to not click the summon button. Now, I don't have a gambling addiction, right? I don't have a gambling addiction. Throw my hands up, I don't have it, right? Because real gambling doesn't interest me. Virtual gambling, though, spinning the wheel for characters in video games or skins on a loot box, you got me there. I don't usually spend money on games like that. I do for Star Rail, though, and I spent like a $5 on Persona 5, the Phantom X, which recently came out and I've been having a blast with. On that, I got Joker and his weapon. Very happy about that. But yeah, these pulls for Phainon went really well. I won my 50-50 twice. How much better can it get? Because I got Phainon and Sunday. Later on in the video, you'll see me summon on the weapon banner. I did actually end up reaching max pity. Unfortunately, I'm not guaranteed. And even more unfortunately, I got Japard's light cone. So I lost the 50-50. And I want to cry myself to sleep because Sunday's light cone is really good. I kind of need it. But anyways, yeah, this video is going to be very unscripted. I'm going to be blabbering about Phainon and how much I love him, as well as the 3.4's story. So, spoilers for that, obviously. And speaking of Phainon, though, man, he's like a perfect product of what happens when you hype up a character, you build him up bit by bit throughout patches, and then when he finally releases, you actually put the effort in to make him even cooler than he already is. The only other example, like most of the cool characters we end up getting in Star Rail, usually just kind of appear, if that makes sense. Like, let's be real, was Fei Zhao really hyped up before her existence? Not that I remember. Fei Zhao kind of just showed up, was really cool, I'll give her that, she was really cool, and then dipped. I think her most recent appearance was in the Myriad Celestia trailer 2, I think that's the name of it, I don't remember. But Phainon, we're introduced to him in 3.0. He's literally like the first dude we meet on Amphorius. And throughout 3.1, throughout 3.0, 1, 2, 3, he is almost always there and present in some way, shape or form. We get to see who he is as a character. He's a bright-eyed, fun-loving fella. Bright eyes? What am I trying to say? He sees the good in everything. He's like a goody two-shoes, holy white knight, as evident by his normal design, and all of this build up, excitement, character development has all climaxed in 3.4 and its story, not only with his actual in-game release, which, by the way, his gameplay is really fun. There's been a lot of complaining online about how, he removes everyone from territory, and you know what, I get that, like, it's a team-based, turn-based RPG, right? And I understand that you would want to use all your team members together. However, the gameplay that he is promoting, that being, playable boss, overpowered god of doom that throws meteors at people and swings the largest sword you've ever seen, he does that really well, and I'm very fond of it. I have been waiting ever since we saw the leaks for him, like, it must have been like 40 days ago now. I saw his leaks, I was just jaw-dropped, like my jaw on the floor. And I know he's kind of like a lot of style, less substance, but I am a sucker for lots of style and not a lot of substance. Well, kinda. In his case I am. I can forego his negatives because he looks so cool and is as strong as he is. As well as me, just personally liking him. He was probably my favourite Chrysosaur. It's him or like Anaxagoras. Him and Anaxagoras are just cool to me. I have both of them. I got Anaxagoras for my Herta team, which obviously he's huge benefit or huge upgrade for. But yeah, Phainon, I love him. Phainon. I'm going to keep saying his name. This video is going to be very unscripted, as you can probably tell. I'm not even going to like pause the recording and cut sections of it. Unless I burp. That, no one needs to hear that, right? But yeah, Phainon's actual gameplay consists of, you know, getting as many core flame stacks as possible, and then transforming into holy double-winged angel god of doom, and then chucking a meteor. That's just really fun to me. Like, I like other characters, right? I have a few teams that I've got built, like Castris team, Herta team, as I mentioned earlier, and those characters are fun, right? But there's something like just it's like a different feeling when playing as Phainon. Throwing the meteor and just seeing like 1.5k on my screen, just like that for free. It's a really good feeling. But anyways, I was talking about the story, right? So yeah, hype him up from 3.0 all the way up to 3.4, and 3.4 has been the most, I think, probably the most lore heavy, dialogue heavy patch we've ever had in Star Rail. I started playing it at 7 in the morning because why not, right? I didn't finish the story until 11. That was 4 hours. 4 hours. There's so much stuff that went on. I don't even remember it all. I don't even understand it all. I really like... Okay, right, so Phainon, about to complete Aeronova, about to complete the Flame Chase journey. Then timeline bullshit starts happening. Then we see Phainon in his youth with Cyrene, who is a character I don't really feel much for Cyrene. I know she's also a Mem. She's basically the same. Mem is Cyrene. Cyrene is Mem. I don't really feel much for Cyrene, and I think a lot of her dialogue is very weirdly spoken. Like, there's a bit in the weird otherworldly void where the Trailblazer usually awakens to a new pathway, and March is in there, and she's talking to Cyrene, and the way Cyrene says certain lines is just kind of weird. Like, it's off. I don't know how to explain it. She just delivers them weirdly. I don't really have an example off the top of my head. I swear there's a bit where she's like, oh, that's your decision. She says it in a weird way. Anyways, also, March is alive. Yay! I love March 7th. I will be summoning for the definitely not real, definitely just a rumor, definitely not leaked at all 5-star version of March that's definitely not coming, right? But yeah, Cyrene is a character. Phainon was the object of my obsession, as always. And yeah, his story in 3.4 has been really compelling, just to me personally. And most of it, because what his story ends up being is him, we get to see him go through all of these different cycles and outcomes of all these cycles. I think the ones where they like show him back to back is like his journey towards becoming the Flame Reaver, because oh my god, shocker, he was the Flame Reaver, who could have seen that coming? But yeah, he's like, he goes through all of these cycles to then implant the knowledge, or like, it's really confusing. I don't know if I'm just being stupid, but like, he goes through all of these cycles, suffers hundreds of thousands of millions of times over, and absorbs millions upon millions of core flames to then implant or fight himself as the Flame Reaver to sort of, there was a lot of timeline jumping, and it really confused me personally, but I kind of got it, sort of. Like, Amphorius is a simulation. That's also not a shock to me whatsoever. I remember watching like speculation, rumor, lore theory videos in like 3.2, and that was like a conclusion a lot of people were coming to, and I believed it. It made just too much sense to not be real, and it is true. It is a big ass simulation designed to birth a Lord Ravager, that being Iron Tomb, which is one of the Destruction's like head honchos. And like, I don't know, there was a lot of timeline jumping, a lot of stuff that Liger said was weird, a lot of stuff that Cyrene was alluding to was weird, and I kind of lost myself at some point. Like, there's a bit where Phainon meets Hyselins, who is a character coming in the next patch, and I was just like, huh? I thought she was dead. I get this is like the first cycle, so she would have been alive, right? This is before she would have died, and it's like at a certain time before her death. But it's just like, you introduce Hyselins, we barely really get to talk to her, and then move on to the next cycle. It's just like, huh? Where are we going? The one thing that kept me tethered to the story and engaged is Phainon himself. As you probably can tell, I'm very fond of him, and part of that fondness comes from his voice acting. I cannot remember the name of his voice actor. I will pop it up on screen once I do. Well, actually, no, I can just search it up right here, right now. Wait, 1 second. I'm unscripting this. Like, why would I? Joshua Waters, right? That guy. He does an amazing job as Phainon. Holy shit! Phainon's voice acting in this patch is insane. Joshua Waters' range is unbelievable. Like, we've met Phainon, we've known him for ages, and the goody two shoes, white knight, I see the best in everyone sort of Phainon that we've known for most of the time, he can still do that voice, right? But with each cycle that Phainon goes through, you can hear his voice and actually physically see him becoming more and more detached from everything. Him becoming more and more like a walking corpse. Like, and his voice acting, like hearing his voice get like raspy and flat and dull, just showing that he isn't attached to this anymore. He was doing this originally for the people, but with each cycle he just begins to see everyone in these cycles as pawns. The Chryso says that he had so much love for at the beginning of the journey are now just stepping stones to his final goal at the end of like the 33rd millionth 500 and something cycle. It's just incredible. And there's a bit where it shows like his backstory in Ides Elysiae, and he's like fighting the Dark Tide, and the Dark Tide creatures are the people of his village corrupted. When he started crying and his voice went all crackly, holy shit, that made me cry. Like, the voice acting for Phainon this patch has been insane. I could not give Joshua Waters more props than like, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And to top it all off, he kills Lygus for like the 3rd time. Lygus does like 3 times in this patch. And to top it all off, they play the animated short that they recently released. What in the Devil May Cry ass shit was that? That was awesome. Seeing Phainon like fight all the minions of the destruction with this awesome, like, what do I want to call it? Rock? Do I want to call it metal? A song that's along those lines, right? It just really reminded me of Devil May Cry. Not the anime, the games. We don't talk about the anime. No one should ever talk about the anime, right? But it's just an awesome thing to cap off this part of the story with, like, and the fact that in the trailer he's fighting Zephyro, who was Zephyrio, the dude in the white, one of the Lord Ravagers, the one that's opposing Nihility. He is like, you know, the top dog of the Lord Ravagers. To see Phainon fight him and, you know, actually kind of put up a good fight is insane. How strong is Phainon? What? And then at the end of it, obviously this is a animated short, so this might just be like him envisioning what he could do and stuff like that. But near the end, where he just like actually grazes Nanook. He grazes the god of destruction. He damaged it. If that was real, and that's not just like him envisioning all of this, what the shit? How strong is he? What? Insane. Absolutely insane stuff. I also had a theory that he would be a Lord Ravager that opposed the Lord Ravagers, and that does look like it's going to become the case. It looks like he is going to use the destruction to destroy the destruction, which is, you know, a really cool idea. But yeah, this patch has been really, really good. Well, okay. The patch is probably not going to be that great because, again, we've only got like 2 events, which is just not enough. But on the bright side, one of the said events is the Fate/Stay Night collab. I don't know anything about Fate, really. I know of the characters. I know who Saber is. I know who Archer is. The bone of my blade. All that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, I've never watched it. I don't really watch anime. As you can probably tell from the channel, I only play games, and that's about it. And fun fact, I don't know if anyone's going to make it to the end of the video. Whoever thought if anyone thought I was like a Dead by Daylight channel, I am gonna shut that rumor. Or not? No one's saying that. No one's rumoring it. But I'm just gonna say again, this channel is just me blabbering about games that I like and talking about stuff that I like. And Dead by Daylight just so happens to be, you know, one of my hyperfixations currently. And the Spirit video, I hope, should be up tomorrow. I hope. I'm not very good at Spirit, so expect some not so good gameplay. Oh no, my gameplay was probably okay. But anyways, yep, that's me done blabbering about Phainon, Honkai Star Rail version 3.4, etc, etc. I hope you have a good evening, afternoon, morning, etc. Like, subscribe and comment if you feel so inclined. And the next video should be on the Spirit from the hit game Dead by Daylight. Also, the DBD-a-thon is going to continue. I'm just going to space it out a little bit more. But anyways, have a good evening, morning, and the rest of your night, and see you next time.